pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we get started, Councilman Foreman informed me he's on a business trip this week, and according to our policy, he notified me that he was going to join us by Zoom. So we just need a motion to allow Councilman Foreman to participate electronically.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Haley, second by Councilman Carson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving right along to the approval of the minutes. We have minutes from the October 8th, 2024 meeting. Is there any questions, comments, changes, corrections? None? All right, we'll approve those as submitted. First one, right? Good job. Next item, report of the town manager, Mr. Warner.
Thank you, Mayor Black, members of council. Just a couple of items for tonight. First, this is the annual reminder that some communities in Virginia choose the date, time, and other restrictions associated with Halloween trick-or-treating. The town of Bedford does not. We encourage those who choose to participate in trick-or-treating to plan ahead and exercise caution. Citizens are encouraged to use flashlights when walking on neighborhood streets and to supervise children as they go from house to house. And the town also encourages those driving around the community during the evening hours on October 31st to exercise extra caution in light of potential weather-related conditions, as well as the likely presence of trick-or-treaters on or near neighborhood streets. I also wanted to note that between now and the next regular council meeting, town offices will be closed on 2 occasions in observance of state-recognized holidays. The first will be Tuesday, November 5th, which is Election Day. Second will be Monday, November 11th, which is Veterans Day. And that concludes my report.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Warner? Todd? No? All right. Next item is the appearances before council. We got 3 people signed up this evening. If you would, just when you come forward, give us your name and your address for the record. We ask that you try to keep it to 3 minutes and give us your thoughts. So, Ms. McKeon?
Good evening, Mayor Black and gentlemen. I'd like to ask Mr. Warner and the council if he feels that Waukesha Development is on point to begin early rental applications as promised as we are into the fall season. And we noticed that there really isn't that much of a crew on that site. I believe there's 65 apartments in the building.
Sounds right.
So there should be probably 25 to 30 men on crew at that site working. And there's still, he promised that he would secure the building, and it still isn't secure. There's open windows and doors, and it still poses a hazard to the town. It's not as derelict as Old Yellow is, because Old Yellow and some other buildings in town, but I was just wondering what the updates were on that, and I just wanted to say that the VA Building Fire-Related Laws and Codes Title 2.2 does give the town government the authority to act on hazardous and derelict type buildings that are being left. And it's possible that you could just send out a letter and remind them that they have to stay on point, or they can accrue, fines for that, or a lien on the property. So I just wanted to, bring that to your attention. Also, just briefly, I'm kind of sorry that we're here for the budget discussion, because I do feel that last year, when the estimate was given for the police department, there was a lot of money spent for that design, for the hiring of the design firm. And I look back at that and I feel right now that if that money hadn't been used, or if there had been more concern given to that decision, you would have those fees, the money right now to pay the outstanding receipts that you have now. I just thought that everyone needs to do due diligence going forward to make sure that the budget is taken well care of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. McKeon. Mr. Hayden? Tom?
Good evening, Jonathan Hayden,
1013 Windy Ridge Drive, Bedford, Virginia. Here to speak a little bit about the tree lighting and the Christmas here in the town of Bedford. It was brought to my attention that, someone did ask me to come, in front of you all and to just speak a little bit more about it. I was here about maybe 2 years ago speaking about the same subject as well. The tree lighting event and the experience that we give the members of the town of Bedford and then members of Lynchburg, Roanoke, we try to make it as memorable as possible. Doing that with just one person is kind of hard. I've been doing it for about 6 years now. I feel as if we were to come together on the Christmas in Bedford, Bedford is considered as the Christmas capital of Virginia. So we have to take force on what we're named after, and more so just be able to help one another on this journey that we have. The tree lighting event, I've been living in Bedford my whole entire life. Never once did I go to a tree lighting event growing up. And I foresee that being, it was just always looked over. So when I did take it over, again, everything with me is about the experience that whoever that comes to the event and throughout the whole December going into January, you have people that come there to take wedding pictures and engagements and a little bit of everything. But I just foresee it being much bigger than what myself can do with the help with the town. The last time I was here, it was not considered a Town of Bedford event, in which I foresee that it's very much so a Town of Bedford event. Just due to the fact that nobody sees little old me when they drive through the middle of town and see all of the decorations, and they don't think of me, and I don't look for that. But you all do get the recognition for the decorations that we spend hours and hours putting up, and me, myself, I appreciate everything that the public work does. We got a real good relationship, but furthermore, I foresee it being much bigger and better by joining forces. It's been on a small budget for the past 6 years, and I want to say we get around about 300 some odd folks that come out to the tree lighting event, and then throughout the month of December, you'll see pictures and engagements and whole 9 yards right there in the center town park. So I just foresee, if not this year, next year, we can sit down and have a conversation about it. Again, like I said, I foresee this being a Town of Bedford event. It's no personal gain for myself. It's free for everyone to attend. And again, it's on town property. So I just foresee that being something that we should look furthermore into. I know it's kind of late into the year right now to be able to, give funds or anything of that nature, but I just foresee us having more conversation in the near future for next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, let's see, Mr. Whiting? Sorry about that. Good to see you. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, Mayor Black and members of the council. My name is Joe Whiting. I serve as the pastor at Chamblissburg Baptist Church in the county, 9226 Stewartsville Road, Moneta, Virginia, 24121. I just want to share a verse of scripture, if I may, with you today, and then offer a prayer before our meeting. Well, kind of into our meeting now. Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for your tender mercies and loving kindness towards the town of Bedford. Thank you for the bountiful blessings you've given to us. Thank you for uniting the Christians within our city and the surrounding areas. Lord, you are good, and your faithful love endures forever. Lord, may your people in the town and county of Bedford continue to humble ourselves, pray and seek your face, and turn from our wicked ways. As we do this, you promised you would hear from heaven, forgive our sins, and restore our land. Bedford belongs to you, Lord, and it's you who will cause its prosperity. We pray for those who are in authority over us here in the city. Give wisdom to them as they conduct business on behalf of our city. May you protect them and their families from harm. May you bless them with health and prosperity. May you give strength and honor to each member of our town council. For Mayor Tim Black, Vice Mayor C.G. Stanley, Councilman Stacey Haley, Councilman Robert Carson, Councilman Bruce Johannesson, Councilman Todd Foreman, and Councilman Darrell Updike. We pray for all the business, civic, community, and church leaders. We ask you to grant each resident of this town the blessing of living peaceful, productive, and quiet lives. We ask you to rise up, O Lord, in Bedford and scatter your enemies. Let crime and lawlessness be scattered. Let homelessness, unemployment, and greed be eliminated. Fill our private and public schools with your presence so that our children and youth will be safe and grow in wisdom and maturity. Open doors for economic increase within our community. Touch the hearts of our judicial leaders to judge fairly and righteously for all the people. Help our homeowners in Bedford successfully maintain their properties with dignity, and may they be able to pay their mortgages and taxes with all diligence. Let equality and justice flow through our hospital so that everyone receives quality, affordable health care. May our churches be effective in carrying out your work. Let your perfect love and peace preside over this city, and may Bedford, Virginia stand as a beacon of light and hope for the nation to see what a city looks like under the gracious blessing of God. Father, may you have your blessing on tonight's town council meeting. May all things proceed decently and in order for the good of your people, for the peace and order of our city, and for the glory of God. We ask all this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Whiting. Anybody else wish to speak this evening before we close the public comment period? No? All right, next item, council comments. Councilman Foreman, you have anything?
I don't have anything to do.
All right. Councilman Johansson?
Yeah, I'd just like to point out, we're blessed in this town with several folks that help around about and get very little recognition. John Hayden is just one of them. I think of the work that he does with the Christmas event. We have several that do things such as Jim Ravel with the Bedford Urban Garden and Fred Dewis, who takes care of the Wharton Garden. These guys are not asking for much, but we got to support them and try to help them as much as we can. And we ought to be proud of the work that they do.
Ms. McKeon, we hear your concerns. Thank you for bringing those to our attention. Jonathan, I hear what you're saying, and as Mr. Johansson just said, I would welcome an open conversation going into next year sometime to discuss what we can do moving forward. Mr. Whiting, I appreciate you coming here. I mean, I really sincerely do. I mean, as I've said time and time again, I believe in the power of prayer. And here you're taking your time from Chambersburg to come here and offer prayer for us. I really do appreciate it. And come back anytime. Thank you.
I just want to say, Mr. Whiting, thank you for the prayer. Jonathan, you do an awesome job, man. You do, every time I see you do an event, you pretty much knock it out of the park, man. So I would be optional to sit down and chat with you in the next year or whatever. So I think that would be an awesome thing for us to do if we could get something together. And I just want to say, I'll thank you for all the town candidates that showed up tonight that's running for council this year. So we appreciate you showing your face in this ordinance. Thank you.
Councilman Carson?
Yeah, I would like to say thank you for all of you that's here tonight. Thank you, Pastor Whiting, for that prayer. We continually need that, and I really appreciate you coming to pray with us and pray for us.
And I understand your concern about Waukesha. I do. You're not the only one. There are other people that have questions. They just step forward like you did. I understand that. And it's good when you have concerns to come and let us know what your concerns are. I mean, it's good that you do that, and we thank you for doing that. Jonathan, you do an awesome job. You do. And it is a town function. It is a town function. You may have done this on your own, and we may not have had nothing to do with it. But so many people look forward to that. Businesses adjust their hours when you do it. So many people, they enjoy that. And I noticed that this tree is constantly, you have to upgrade the lights. Everything is getting expensive and all of that. I wish you would have come to us sooner, but you've been doing a fine job, and I think we should look forward to doing something to help that. Everybody else is saying next year, but we're getting ready to light that tree this year. And this tree needs lights this year. This tree needs to be upgraded this year. So I would hope that we can get our head together and say, okay, until we can sit down and come up with something, there's something we can do for you this year. So I'm hoping that that will be the conversation. And we won't have to wait till next year, because it's not promised to none of us. But people are looking forward to that, and it is a town event, whether we want to accept it or not, and we do get the credit for it, not you. But I'm hoping there's something we can do this year.
I'd like to thank everyone that's present for being here. I'd also like to thank those that took time to participate in the public comment. You hear what you're saying, you make valid points, and they will be the subject of conversation moving forward. Thank y'all for that.
All right. Like everybody, thank you all for coming this evening. Ms. McKeon, you know, I've been kind of having this conversation with Barton, you know, and Mr. McGyver. So it'll probably be a topic of conversation in the very near future. You know, it may be something we discuss. We're planning to have a work session at the next meeting, before the next meeting, kind of inviting whoever the four new council members are, inviting them and kind of having a conversation about some of these big items that are kind of like a transition type meeting. And so, you know, by that time, we'll make sure we get an update on, you know, Mr. Warner, if we can get an update from Gary, not Gary, but Dave, and, you know, so we can maybe see where we stand. I think I know, but anyway, we can kind of start thinking about what's the next step there. And I think one of the topics also is going to be, you know, do we move forward with, or what new ideas are there on a police station if it's just dead now, or if, you know, if there is some conversation about, you know, in the future, you know, how we're going to get there in the future, you know. So yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if the economy was great and, you know, interest rates were low and we could have maybe fit it in right now, but there's other priorities, and but it's in my opinion, it should not be you know, a dead matter. I mean, our police department is going to need a new facility at some point, but you know, so where that conversation goes with the new council, that will be, you know, some of the discussion that we'll kind of let them lead on. Let's see, was one other thing? Nah, I think that was it. You know, for right now, Reverend White, thank you, like I said, for coming again. We appreciate it. For the Jonathan's request, I talked to Bart a little bit about that today. You know, council does have a miscellaneous line item in their budget. You know, so if there's an actual request with a specific amount of money and what it's going to kind of be used for, I mean, I don't know if the next meeting there in the 1st of November is quick enough to still help you, you know, get there this year, Jonathan. but, you know, I don't know if you're ready to give us kind of some requests this evening, but I think if we could get a request, maybe that might be something we could potentially look at. And it may not even take action, you know, like I said, we've got that line item there, but I just wanted to throw that out there. I think that, what was it, about 5,000 in that budget item, and have we used anything out of that?
Don't think so far. I'll double check that.
Have we used some, Ann, do you think?
Yeah, we can look up the numbers, I think 500, so that's not right.
That we have used?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, it might be something if you wanted to put something a little more formal together instead of just kind of winging it tonight.
Yeah.
We could maybe take up
All right.
in November if council would feel,
Yeah, I'd be in favor of it, by all means, yeah.
okay.
Do it this year.
No, I have no problem with it.
All right, so, Mr. Warner, if you and Tom could work with Jonathan, kind of, you know, see what the immediate needs are, you know, and then hopefully, like I said, that'll be a future conversation, but, you know, we want to make sure the tree's got lights on it this year, you know, so. But anyway. So we'll take that up in our first meeting in November. Unless you think, you know, there's a way to do it, but if you need action from us, if you don't need action from us, I think you got consensus thought. You got any thoughts? Okay, so I mean, I think you got consensus. I think you got consensus.
It's a go.
I'm not spending the whole $4,500, but no, but anyway, you know, however we need to handle that part, I think we can move that ahead.
Thank you.
Report of council committees, we haven't had any committees since the last meeting, right? Okay, all right. Any revisions, additions to the agenda? Anybody? No? No?
No.
All right, we'll go ahead with the public hearing. Mr. Warner, if you'll read the notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Town Council of the Town of Bedford, Virginia, at 7:00 p.m. on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, will hold a public hearing at the Council Hall in the Town Municipal Building located at 215 East Main Street in Bedford, Virginia, to consider a budget amendment to the fiscal year 2025 adopted budget for new grants and rollover of multi-year grants in an amount not to exceed $9,355,933.48. Copy of the detailed grant and budget amendment request is available for inspection by the public in the office of the clerk of the town council. Would note that these grants basically represent pass-throughs through the town budget. There's actually not any town money being expended. We are just working to accept a CDBG grant from the state and also to get a FEMA grant on behalf of the hospital that they couldn't apply for themselves. With that said, the public hearing is now open for anyone who wishes to express their views.
All right, so I'll open the public hearing on the, like I said, on the budget amendments, if anybody wishes to speak. No? All right, we'll close the public hearing and move right into the first item of new business. You want me to take that one, Mr. Warner? So, Mr. Green, I'll read the proclamation, and then you can come up and I'll present this framed copy for you. Mr. Green reached out to me to ask that we celebrate one of our citizens this week. So with that, I'm going to read the proclamation, which is celebrating the 100th birthday of Salvatore. I know, mess it up. I tried, Mr. Salvatore S. Lowry, whereas Salvatore S. Lowry was born on October 30th, 1924 in Bedford, Virginia, to Elston Selden and Lillian C. Selden, and whereas she is a lifelong Bedford town resident, and whereas she was born the third child of 9 children, she later married Harry J. Lowry in 1949, and whereas she worked for McCormick Foods, formerly Golden West Foods, and is a member of the Washington Street Baptist Church, having served on the Senior Usher Board, Deaconess Board, Women's Ministry, and Hospitality Committee, and whereas she enjoyed traveling, preparing holiday dinners for her family, and spending time reading her Bible, now it is therefore proclaimed that I hereby celebrate the life and influence of Salvatore S. Lowry on the occasion of her 100th birthday. Furthermore, I extend my thanks for her many years of positive influence and blessing to the community, and my best wishes for her continued good health and vigor. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Bedford to be affixed this 22nd day of October 2024. So, Mr. Green, if you'd come up, we have a framed copy of this proclamation, and you all can present that to her on our birthday party Saturday.
Sullivan family thanks the town of Bedford and City Council for this proclamation.
Thank you,
She will certainly be very gratified by receiving. She is 100 years old on October 30th, and she has 100% of this.
Wow, that's good.
She's a neighbor, she's sharp as a tack.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
She's sharp. I love her dearly. She's funny as all get out.
Those are the fun parts of this job. Next item is the fiscal year 25 grant rollover and appropriations. Mr. Warner?
The town has received numerous federal and state funding opportunities that include eligible spending periods beyond the town's fiscal year basis. After all audit entries have been processed, the remaining budget balance of certain grant programs need to be appropriated in the new fiscal year. The grant programs being reappropriated include the VDOT State of Good Repair Grant for McGee Street Bridge, the FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant for the hospital generator, Bedford Memorial, the Community Development Block Grant Phase 1, and the Otter Bus Transit Grant. A total balance of $8,284,349.48 is being requested for the grant program's rollover. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve the attached budget amendment, which will appropriate budget to the general ledger accounts listed.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 grant budget rollover?
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion by Councilman Updike, second by Councilman Haley. Any questions, comments? Todd?
No.
None, okay. Real quick, Bart, do you know where we stand on the McGee Street Bridge? I know we're in the engineering year, but are we making progress on that?
Yeah, my understanding is construction is scheduled to begin September of 2025, and that's one of those issues where the good news is we get it for free, the bad news is we don't get it quick.
Right, okay. But it's still on track for construction start
Yes,
next
sir.
year, okay, good. All right, any other questions, comments?
No.
No? All right, motion second, roll call.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mr. Haley?
Aye.
Mr. Johansson?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
And Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 members voting aye.
All right, next one is the DHCD CDBG Housing Rehab Phase 2 grant.
The Town of Bedford has received $1,071,644 for the purpose to improve the living conditions of 11 households, all of which are low to moderate income households, through housing rehabilitation. This Phase 2 project is anticipated to provide benefits to 17 persons, all of whom are low to moderate income individuals. The grant was accepted September 3rd, 2024, and the item below includes the formal budget appropriation for the grant. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve the below budget amendment, which will appropriate budget to the general ledger accounts listed as follows. an increase in the revenue line item identified as CDBG grant Phase 2 of $1,071,644, and an expenditure increase in the corresponding line item entitled CDBG Phase 2 Hilltop Revitalization of $1,071,644.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the
So moved.
CDBG
Second.
grant? All right, we have a motion by Councilman Carson, second by Councilman Haley. Any questions?
When will this start?
As soon as possible. We are in the process of negotiating that with the management team through DHCD.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I'm not sure myself because it's kind of an ongoing thing, but it will be soon.
Yeah, we completed the contract negotiation about a month ago, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah. But I will say, as I usually do, this is a very worthwhile project. The money goes to very good use. It helps a lot of households to revitalize and at times rebuild. So I am the council rep on this committee right now, but I've learned a lot. I appreciate what has been done, and encourage all council and future members to support this.
CJ, do you know, I don't, when they're gonna do this second inspection before they start? Because we have to have another inspection to make sure things haven't changed from when they put their applications in. Do you know when that's going?
No, actually, our past two meetings have been canceled.
Yeah.
So I don't have an update on that.
I'll check with Jafredo from the Central
Yeah.
Virginia Planning District. He's spearheading that one.
Yeah.
I'd just like to make a comment in general here. You know, I want to thank our staff, Bart, Mary, Ann, John. I mean, there's a lot of work to putting these grants together, and it's paying off for the town of Bedford. We're getting a lot of federal and state funds in here that are allowing us to get some things done that we could not get done just with local funding. And you know, they need to be commended by the community and by us for putting in this effort, because you know, I always thought we had this opportunity, you know, as a community to get a good bit of grant money, and in the last few years, I don't know how many millions, but it's substantial amount of money that is flowing through this community, and I just wanted to say thank you to the staff for all their hard work on getting them. Waiting for that one more. Waiting for that railroad one. The train station would say, well, let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. You know, so anyway, but yeah, job well done on those.
Thank you.
Just want to say our staff is great, to no way,
Yeah.
the mayor. So we have an awesome group of people.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, roll call.
Mr. Foreman,
Aye.
Mr. Haley,
Aye.
Mr. Johansson, Mr. Stanley,
Aye.
Mr. Updike,
Aye.
Mr. Carson,
Aye.
and Mayor Black.
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 members voting aye.
All right, the next one, the power cost adjustment for our electric utility.
The power cost adjustment, or PCA, is adjusted twice a year on November 1st and April 1st. This factor recovers power costs which exceed those costs included in base rates. The calculation is based on 6 months of historical cost data. The calculation includes prior period power costs that were under or over recovered based on actual rate recovery. In the past 6 months, there was a significant under recovery of power costs due primarily to increasing transmission costs paid to Appalachian Power Company, or APCO. These costs are beyond Bedford's control, as they are approved and regulated by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, and passed on directly to transmission customers like Bedford. In this case, Bedford is requesting 50% of the under recovery be passed on through the PCA, the remainder to be held for potential future recovery. In addition, Bedford has received significant renewable energy certificate revenue from the generation at the Snowden hydroelectric plant. A portion of these revenues have been dedicated to engineering studies at the plant, Bedford has applied the remainder of these rec revenues to reduce power costs. The proposed PCA of .03103 includes these adjustments. A more detailed discussion of the PCA has been included in the agenda packet for reference. The ordinance provides for the PCA to automatically go into effect, barring any action by council to modify it. Tonight, Town Council is requested to allow the proposed PCA to go into effect as calculated with 50% of the undercost recovered and the use of remaining Snowden renewable energy credit revenues to reduce power costs.
All right, do we want to have John, or you want to make a motion first and then have John come maybe discuss a little more?
I make a motion.
All right, so,
Second.
Vice Mayor Stanley makes a motion to approve the power cost adjustment. Councilman Haley seconded. Discussion or questions? John? I just want to get some information out to the public, if we can. I mean, this is not a fun topic. It's something that we've got to deal with as an electric utility. And I think it's important that we explain, because this is a fairly substantial increase, even at 50%,
Yes, it is.
But why is this happening? You and I have had this conversation, but like I said, I wanted the public to understand, the pressures we're feeling on our purchase power cost, and how we can. It's just it's not creating a financial burden yet, but if we don't address it, and we can't just keep, passing off. I hate to say it, we can't keep subsidizing the cost of power. So, if you could just talk about the last 6 months a little bit, what's has driven this fairly substantial under recovery. What was it, about $800,000? Is that?
It was, and unfortunately, you're right, this is not a happy subject, but we are subject to the transmission cost that we receive from Appalachian Power Company. They have very aggressively been rebuilding their transmission system, and this has resulted in tremendous cost increases for us. In addition to that, over the past few years, Appalachian Power, and this is all determined by the one coincident peak with Appalachian Power. And it has been stair-stepping between summer and winter over the past few years. This year, we are facing a winter peak. And it just so happens that we, as the town of Bedford, peak at the exact same time as Appalachian Power Company does in the winter, which is the worst possible thing in determining our transmission cost. In addition to that, they've had a tremendous increase in their rates. So these things go into effect the first of the year. We were really hoping that this summer peak would surpass the winter peak, which would have a significant savings for us, but it did not happen. So the winter peak prevailed. So unfortunately, we don't have many tools in our toolkit to control this. The main thing we have is something called behind the meter generation, which we have a significant amount between Snowden solar facility and also our diesel peaking units. And in the future, we've got to build up our quiver with more of this behind the meter generation. That's the only tool we have at the moment to fight these cost increases. Now, I'll just say anecdotally, Salem, for example, has had 2 rate increases already this year. So, we're not alone in facing this additional cost burden. And I hate to say it, but I don't see it slowing down. I don't see Appalachian Power slowing down at all. So in the long term, we've got to develop our behind-the-meter strategy so we can help contain these costs going forward. I hate to even be the bearer of more bad news because the capacity cost that we pay to PJM, which is the Regional Transmission and Power Market, is going up significantly, and that will hit us in June of next year. So, and again, the only thing we can do is try and get our behind-the-meter generation strategy moving forward, and it will benefit both in terms of savings of our transmission cost and capacity cost going forward. It is a tough subject. I wish we had more options, but we're kind of boxed in. We work very closely with AMP, who is our regional power supplier. And as a matter of fact, they're coming to Bedford sometime in the next few months. They have a behind-the-meter generation program, which they're offering to us as well. So we'll evaluate those options as they become available to us. So that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, so I mean, it's fair to say that before these large increases in the transmission, that part of our power bill was about $400,000 a month, just on average.
Yes.
And that's jumped to around $600,000. I mean, so we're looking at a $200,000 increase in our power costs per month.
Correct. That's correct.
You know, so
That's correct.
I mean, I just want this to be as transparent as, you know, I mean, it's, sometimes we have to, you know, give out bad news, and unfortunately, this is one of those times, but people need to understand that it's not, we're not making any more money.
No.
We're not having any more money to spend on making sure we're providing reliable. This is all about us buying the power.
That's correct.
To sell to you all to.
That is correct.
So.
And one thing that we have here in Bedford is a very high penetration of electric heat. We do not have natural gas in Bedford County. So just about everybody has some form of electric heat, whether it's the heat pump or a radiator, electric furnace. And that is what contributes to this situation. I hate to say it, but that's the way it is.
Well, we hate to have to pass it along, but like I said, we can't just not pay, and not continue to use our cash to pay our power bill.
Now, these bills have already been paid.
Right.
So to the extent that we recover some of those costs that we are under recovering, it could help to offset some future rate increases. I will say that even with this increase, we're still in a favorable position in terms of our bills with Appalachian Power Company and Salem and Southside and Central Virginia Electric Co-op, which are kind of in our region. So we're still in a favorable position. Our rates were extremely low, and we have enjoyed that benefit. So now things have come to the point where we need to ask for this additional increase.
Any other questions?
So I got a question. Does it have to be 50%? Could it be cheaper?
50% is something we have used in the past. So it was a good faith effort to share that cost. And a matter of fact, previously we did this with about $500,000 that we did not recover. So no, it doesn't have to be 50%, but that's kind of a balance, I think, between our under recovery and trying to minimize the impact on customers.
Right.
So,
I mean, every year, every 6 months we talk about this PCA, and it just looks like it's getting worse and worse every time we talk about it.
It is. We're in an inclining cost environment, and it all starts in Washington, and then it comes to Richmond, and then it comes throughout PJM. They make these decisions like closing all the coal-fired power plants practically in Ohio, which is it's a problem for us. And Appalachian Power, I look at it this way. They did very little improvements in their transmission system for about 50 years. And now all of a sudden, in the past 5 or 10 years, they're just chugging and just revitalizing their system. We don't have any option. We must use them unless we do behind-the-meter generation.
So in the process in the future, when we voted on the last meeting, I think we talked about wind power, stuff like that, wind power turbines and stuff like that. And we explore any other option about solar along the line where we could actually cut this cost down a little bit where it will help us.
Well, I'm glad you brought that subject up. Because, yes, we've been talking about this for, let me see, about 5 years.
Oh, no, we have.
And we just have not been successful in locating another facility in the town of Bedford. Unfortunately, the county is not cooperative with us. There's plenty of land in the county to do this, and it's inexpensive compared to being in the town. But they will not cooperate and give us favorable zoning for solar. So we've got to look here in town.
So can they work with the county somewhere, offer assistance in the long run down the road?
I think the mayor has
I'm
worked.
just asking.
I
I'm just thinking.
You know, we've had this conversation.
I know we have.
CG and I've had this conversation with Board of Supervisors members.
Yeah.
At this point in time, they
not
told
gonna happen.
us it's not gonna happen, so.
I was just thinking that's
You know,
something.
they're not gonna, but, and, you know, what their fear is the large scale, the 1,000-acre, you know, utility coming in, and, you know, and rightfully so, there's, I mean, you know, there's something to be said that, you know, maybe we don't want those in our county because they are kind of intrusive, you know, I mean, but at the same time, you know, I'm not gonna, that's their decisions, you know, and we have to respect that and understand that right now, you know. The state of Virginia or the federal government may take that away from them at some point down the road, but at this point, you know, we got to live within, you know, kind of their rules and keep having the conversation that, you know, this does, you know, help us save on our costs.
Yeah.
It helps us save their citizens and our citizens and them, you know, as much as we want to try to save on our costs to keep electric rates down as low as possible. But right now, I mean, that's not, you know, that's not the solution.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but the problem is, you know, we're about a 10-mile radius, 10 to 12-mile radius or whatever, within the county of Effingham. We are county residents just as well as town residents. And, you know, the whole point is, you know, every 6 months we talk about increasing the power cost adjustment, and no, we have to pay our bills. That's the final point right there. We know that.
Yes.
And I just, you know, it just looks like it gets higher and higher every year or every 6 months, and that's what my concern is about the citizens. We passing this on to the citizens.
Yeah.
Well,
we
some other
did go
good news.
about, we did go over a year though with a flat PCA where we did
Yeah.
not increase it.
Right.
And the increases we've had have been very small. Matter of fact, last year at this time, we were decreasing the PCA.
Yeah.
Because we had favorable conditions. So it's something we need to continue to focus on, make it a high priority. You know, the potential to increase the capacity at Snowden would be another contributor that we could do. We could put more diesel generation in as well.
That's what I was going to say.
And so that's certainly a possibility, or another solar project, or maybe a combination of those things.
And then, John, too, we talked about, does the wind power contract factor into this at all? The
Well,
transmission?
it may reduce our energy portion of our purchase power bill,
But not the transmission
but
cost?
it's not transmission because it's in Pennsylvania, is
Right.
where that wind
Right.
project is.
But still, from the capacity standpoint that's coming up next year, it would help on that piece potentially.
They get some small amount of capacity
Right.
credit.
But anyway, because, you know, the last meeting, John did tell me, and he's going to do some analysis on it for you all. You know, we were AMP was limited us to buying like 4.5.
3.5 megawatts.
3.5 megawatts.
Right.
You know, I griped about that.
Right.
And I think AMP has said we can maybe take a little more than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
up to,
We can.
was it up to 7 megawatts?
Correct.
So he's going to look at the numbers on that and maybe bring something back
Right.
to see how that could fit into our portfolio as well. So I mean,
Right.
we're looking at everything we can look at, you know,
Yeah.
but it's just.
Yeah, the
sign of the time.
quickest thing we could do is add more diesel capacity, because that can be done fairly quickly. The thing that is an unknown there is what is Richmond going to do in the future when it comes to the clean air? But you probably get like a 5-year or less payback on the diesels, so we're pretty safe if we go ahead with something like that.
So I got a question, Mayor Black.
Yes, sir.
Instead of doing it all at once, can we do it like in a stage of 3 months, a period?
Our ordinance doesn't allow that, I don't think.
I was just asked that question.
I
Now,
don't think
years
our
ago, we
ordinance says you gotta change it every 6 months.
Right. Years
Can't-
ago, we used to do it monthly, but that was not looked upon favorably, especially by large customers, because they couldn't budget when their monthly cost was fluctuating like that. So they really requested that we give them more stability, and that's where the 6-month came in to play.
Well, believe it or not, I was asking John why we're not trying to recover 100%. He wasn't sitting. He was sitting down when I asked him that, but he explained that, you know, he feels the 50% we can live with until we get that rate study and see where that leads you all to. But anyway,
But that's
Remember,
not-
it's a balance between the residential customers and the large
and the
users.
large industrial.
And we've got to be cognizant of how anything like this impacts everybody.
Right.
But my only question would be is, you know, we talked about that rate study several times, and, you know, we're supposed to be getting that rate study. You know, I'd rather till we got that rate study before we've done anything to adjust any power bills in the town of Bedford. That's my opinion, but that's mine.
Yeah, but that's just gonna throw you another
Yeah.
probably 6 months behind, losing, you know, $200,000 a
Yeah.
month.
I understand. I mean, I'm not trying to,
I mean,
Yeah.
we've sped through our cash pretty good the last couple of years.
I understand.
You know, and you don't want to keep
Yes, sir.
bleeding it up. That's just from a financial standpoint. Look, I get what you're saying. I don't envy. You know, I don't really want to pass that on to our customers either. But I mean, you know, facts are facts.
Well, one thing I'll mention when it comes to that is that AMP gives each of its members a credit rating, and their credit worthiness is dependent on their members.
Right.
And one of the components in giving you your credit rating is your PCA automatic.
Right.
If it's not, you get deductions for that. So I don't think we want to get in that box.
John, you mentioned a couple times about Snowden.
Yes.
Where are we with the annual maintenance, and when are we going to be back online? Are we back online now? Or?
Well, October is usually annual maintenance month. What we had this year with the storm, the storm didn't hit us directly, but it did do a lot of damage upriver for us. And there was so much debris that came down the river. We had to spend over a week just clearing debris. So we are well through the maintenance, and we'll be back on by the end of the month. Now, all we need is water. Right now, there's really not enough water in the river to run anyway.
The right amount of water.
And right
The
now,
right amount of water, that's right, yeah. So I don't think you need to, I mean, it'd be fine if you made a resolution to support it, but I don't know that it's required to do that.
well, I mean, we probably need to take action since we're only recovering to 50%. Because if not, the automatic response would be to recover 100%. So I think we do need to Mr. Locke, we don't think we need to take
I was
take
about to
action.
say,
Yeah.
if you're not just gonna do the ordinance, flick the switch, so to speak, pardon me, then yeah, that's what you need to do is to make that adjustment.
And we have a motion and a second on that already, so we're still kind of just discussing. The motion is to accept the 50%.
Right. And I will say, I mean, as John has said, the 50% is kinder to the customers. I mean, we could go the 100%, and that would be a bombshell right there. But the 50% is the natural way to go. We are at the mercy of the big utilities that own the transmission lines. And that's the nature of the business. They own them, they're going to charge. So the fact that Appalachian has had, would you say, 2 rate increases recently tells me that, you know, they have to go get permission from Richmond for that. So Richmond understands it also.
Salem too, right, Salem.
But I believe Appalachian has had either one or two increases here the past
They
several
have,
months.
and they're going to have another one in January.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, they don't wait.
Well,
And
they-
it's not just in Virginia. I mean, my utility in South Carolina is looking at a
It's-
10% increase. So,
And that's what I'm saying, in that we really have no choice. I mean, the cost of doing business is going up, the cost of producing electricity is going up, so we're at the mercy of all the prices and the way they've increased.
Well, the good thing is we're still well below Appalachian Power. I think they're probably, their bill is probably $30 a month higher than what we're proposing.
Right.
So, that's a small consolation, but it's something that I think is a positive for us, that we are still below them, and still below Salem, and still below Martinsville, and still below South Side, and still below Central Virginia, and most of our neighbors. So that's something we can feel good about.
And John, every time you say that, it's just like music to the choir. I mean, because I know how the rates used to be, and I know where they were at one point, and the fact that we are below some of the major utilities says a lot about what we're doing. We're doing something right.
It does, and that's something we can feel good about.
Exactly.
Todd, you got any questions, or you good?
No, you got answered most of the questions I would have had.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to try to get, like I said, just wanted to get it out there, as much as I can. And if people got questions about this, reach out to us, reach out to John. I mean, John understands this stuff tremendously well, but like I said, none of us like to talk about it, but that's what it's up here to do, so, and like I said, the key is, even moving forward, just try to be, I know y'all will be, but try to be as cognizant, but you gotta move to get to wherever the market says you need to be, and, however you figure out the best way to get there, and keeping all the customers in mind. That's gonna be a challenge once we get that rate steady back, because obviously, the last time we did this was almost 8 years ago, and things have changed a lot in 8 years.
A lot.
Yeah, and keep in mind that about 1/3 of our sales are to large customers. I mean, very large customers compared to the rest of us. So we have to balance that whole range of usage.
Right. Any other questions for John?
Good.
All right, time to vote.
Mr. Haley?
No.
Mr. Johannesson?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Mr. Updike?
Aye.
Mr. Carson?
Aye.
Mr. Foreman?
Aye.
Mayor Black?
Aye.
Motion carries with 6 members voting aye.
All right,
Thank you.
all right, thanks, John. Yep. All right, then the next item is the Autobus Phase 3 Transit Grant.
The town of Bedford has been awarded a grant of $146,765 from the Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation for Phase 3 of bus transit services. The town and the Bedford Community Health Foundation have been partnering to provide public transportation within the town. Prior to receiving the initial phase of this grant program, financial burden was carried by the Health Foundation on a temporary basis. This grant program allows the town and the Health Foundation to continue and expand the contract service for another 1-year period. This is the final phase of state funding and has helped meet our goal to develop a path for sustainability that reduces the Health Foundation's obligation as the sole funder. This project is designed to address the need for transportation with the town as identified in several Central Community Health Needs assessments. Tonight, Town Council is requested to approve the below budget amendment, which will appropriate budget to the general ledger accounts listed as follows: an increase in the revenue line item identified as Autobus Phase 3 grant reimbursement of $146,765, and a corresponding increase in the expenditure line item identified as Otterbus Phase 3 grant expenditure of $146,765.
All right, we have a motion to approve the,
So moved.
grant for the Otterbus. All right, we have a motion by Councilman Johansson. We have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Updike. Any questions, comments on the Otterbus? Is it still getting good ridership?
People know about it. We have free bus service here in Bedford.
Okay.
Is it used? I mean, people taking advantage of that?
Yeah, I can get some statistics.
It wouldn't hurt to get, maybe Mary to get us some just information-wise how it's doing, you know, ridership and.
Yeah, to the point where they
Road
were,
riders on the weekend, they pretty loaded during the weekends. They're usually.
I'll get some more info and report back. I will note that they were looking at the point of even looking at on-demand services.
Right.
But the basic funding is through this program.
Right. Yeah.
You do see a lot of riders. You see people on Washington Street up here near the mini market, so you do see a lot of riders out there up down the street.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments, questions? No? All right, roll call.
Mr. Johansson.
Aye.
Mr. Stanley.
Aye.
Mr. Updike.
Aye.
Mr. Carson.
All right.
Mr. Foreman.
Aye.
Mr. Haley.
Aye.
Mayor Black.
Aye.
Motion carries with 7 members voting aye.
All right, next item, resolution canceling the second council meeting in November and December.
Since the second town council meeting in November and in December falls during the Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday season, council is requested to adopt a resolution canceling the second council meeting in November and in December, which would be November 26th and December 24th respectively. Tonight, town council is requested to consider a resolution canceling the second council meeting in November and December, those dates being November 26th and December 24th.
I'll make the motion to cancel the second meeting in November.
I second it.
And the second meeting in December.
I second it.
Well, we should have probably had the discussion at first, because my concern, Mayor, is, that puts you down to 2 meetings.
I think it should be at 4.
And I'm concerned we're depriving you of a couple of meetings here.
If we need them, we'll have them.
And I guess, are you really okay with that?
It worked out pretty good.
We can always do like Bruce said, have a call meeting and come in and in.
All right, motion and a second on the table.
We can decide then whether we want to call.
Yeah.
Todd, you got any comments?
No.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
And understand the timing of those and everything, but we still got a couple things from that started at the beginning of the year that we haven't had a lot of follow-up on, and that's the short-term rentals and digital signage. Are we going to be able to get those before the end of the year?
As soon as the planning commission sends them to you.
I'm pretty sure we approved those at our last meeting.
The digital, there was some debate about some
Oh, yeah,
language in the
the
digital signage.
lumens, that's right. The brightness of the signs, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all loaded up for me on the last meeting in December. I expect that.
Well,
No, it's okay.
only be
There are
careful.
some, the parking, I think there's some ordinances Mike's working on, maybe the parking and when the one, with the fire department, so, any of those little things we can get done, by the end of the year, just to get them off a plate, that would be, Daryl's credit, that'd be good if we could. We're not gonna have a call meeting for them.
Mr. Warner just reminded me we need to fix the leaf collection ordinance also.
Yes, the leaf collection
True.
ordinance,
Yes.
yes, because, so that we make sure the ordinance matches our practice.
And our practice is if you put it at the curb, we'll pick it up,
We'll pick it up, correct.
even though the code doesn't say that.
All right,
Also be good to get the cable franchise done before the end of the year.
okay. All right. Anybody else got anything that they want to try to make sure we that we've been working on that's kind of just hanging out there?
I mean, I just want to be sure you're okay with canceling these meetings.
Yeah, all right, that's fine.
I mean, we can make it meet a little bit longer.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Stanley.
Aye.
Mr. Updike.
Aye.
Mr. Carson.
Aye.
Mr. Foreman.
Aye.
Mr. Haley.
Aye.
Mr. Johannesson.
Aye.
Mayor Black.
Aye.
Motion carries with all 7 members voting aye.
That's better than others.
All right, with that, we will adjourn our meeting to November the 12th, 2024 at 5:30 for our work session. All right? We're adjourned.